Hello, everyone. This is Shauna, and I'm coming to you this week with our installment of the Bob and Nikki series. We're up to book 6, Lost in Transit. And in this volume, we pick up where we left off at the end of the previous book, as you might expect. Um, Bob and Nikki and the crew were leaving Charlie's planet, and they were going off on a rescue trip to go to find the galactic ship. They didn't get there immediately. They had some other things going on. This is a picture of the cover. There's a lot of expansion of Bob's crew and the world that comes about in this volume. Also, you'll find that in about 4 or 5 books in the series, there's going to be an inconsistency that's traced back to details in this book, but we soon discover that the historical roots of the feud and the historical roots of the galactic's history on in the Earth system um, has been shrouded in a lot of mystery, and we get an inkling into some of that here in this book. We also see a lot of robot capabilities in this book as things really pick up in that uh, setting. So there's a lot of details, as I said. Initially, we start with Bob and Nikki going on this mission to recover some fugitives. And the robots are working back on Charlie's planet. They're also working a little bit at Shady Oaks while Bob and Nikki are on their honeymoon. And they, as we had seen in the previous book, the Audi is completed, Nikki's Audi. The junk saucer restoration and retail business is going really well, and the recreation facilities for Shady Oaks are finished and ready. So they go on a rescue mission to rescue Major Rodham, and Mike Darning on a tip sends them out there. We get a little more interaction with the Sasquatch people. We also, as I said, begin to see some robust traffic with the bots. Dingus, who has a soft spot in his heart for rescuing the bots with limiters, goes and tries to get a few more, hires Willem, if you remember the secret agent type guy from the last book, hires Willem to go and fly these 2 bots out that Bob needs, Julie and Susie. And the boys, of course, the robots wanting to make the best impression they can, ask to breathe on Willem's saucer, and he's more than willing to do that. But they discover that there is a tracker on Willem's saucer, and that presents a problem not only in detonating it and making it safe. They end up having to blow up said saucer. So now Willem needs a place to go hide, and they sort of send him on his way just to try to keep him safe. Meanwhile, Bob is still trying to get the Percheron business going on Charlie's planet. So we have that subplot, and then we have a whole other subplot toward the middle, the last half of the book, with this other distress call that comes in from this derelict, it turns out to be a derelict destroyer out in space. And the last 30% or so of the book deals with this whole rescue of getting the ship up and running. So the ships that they find are a lot like the bots that they find. The ships have artificial intelligence as well. And so they christen the big destroyer that they find that has lots of freighters on board it, and lots of bots that have been very much like Ruth was when she was stuck underground, if you remember that reference. They find that the Gene Cernan, they name it the Gene Cernan in honor of the space explorer of American history. They name it the Gene Cernan, and Bob and his team go aboard the Gene, and the bots work to get it operational. And what would have taken the original crew 2 years to actually do, Bob and his team get done in a matter of weeks. So that's where that stood. And at the very end of this installment, we see John Brenham and Jane Williams getting married, and John adopts Greg as his own. So we really see a lot of crew cohesion here. We see a lot of bot capabilities. We see a lot of working together. And this installment presents a lot of what I like the most in these books, which is the interaction with one another and the whole idea that everyone has something to contribute. Everyone has a role or can find a role with a bit of guidance. And sometimes people have more than one role, but they are able to usually find something to use their best talents with. And that's what I like the most. There's also, and you see it a lot in this book, this is something that has come in other installments, but it becomes very prominent in this installment, and that is the integration of artificial intelligence and bots with humans. And you see these bots that are basically have been in a form of slavery coming out and working for Bob into a place where people have names, they can be recognized, they can be appreciated for their expertise. And just because they're not humans, they're still allowed to be autonomous decision makers, and they're still trusted. And now the crew has become overwhelmingly bought now at this point. So we have enough ships for the expanding crew. We have enough crew, but we have them working together to explore the galaxy and ostensibly to find all of these stranded saucers, bring in bounties, and also to rescue the stranded tourists or whoever it might be, to try and minimize the feud that's still ongoing in galactic space. So those are the things that I really appreciate, and those are the things that I read the books for. I really like the bot interactions and how the bots help each other to acclimate, and how they present a foil for people in slavery, people who are disenfranchised, all of that. So I really enjoyed this installment of the book, of the series, I should say. And Lord willing, I'll be back next week with another installment of the same, and we'll continue to follow Bob and Nikki as they now go on to the planet that they found, this new planet that Jean was orbiting, and see what they can find out about the inhabitants who are sort of pushed into one corner by the native peoples, be sort of pushed in there to try and make the most of that situation. So tune in next week for book 7, Captain Caveman. Until then, I wish everyone the best, and I'll talk to you very soon. Take care, be healthy, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you very much.